Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, then turn that notification button on right now.
NXT in the essence of WWE would be the minor leagues. Despite NXT's ability to draw some of the biggest names on the independent circuit into its ring, it's still not the be-all end-all, and even 15-year veterans must start fresh, adapting their style to WWE, ensuring they will connect with the audience. Furthermore, we see some of the biggest stars arrive in NXT under new names, new gimmicks, and at times putting over fresh faces with half their experience or expertise. NXT is where a star can build their reputation to the WWE audience. However, there have been many cases where the most popular of NXT stars won't translate to the major WWE crowd, leaving characters who were once considered breakout stars really just lost in the shuffle. Regardless of your tenure in the business, long or short, one thing is clear: you might not be able to make it in the WWE. My name is John, and here are 10 NXT stars who left NXT a potential star and struggled on the main roster. The perfect 10 has been anything but while on the main roster, though his charismatic attitude has in fact struck a chord with both the NXT and even WWE crowds. Ty Dillinger just can't seem to push ahead. Though Dillinger is considered a new star to a lot of the WWE universe, he actually signed with WWE in 2006 as part of their then developmental program OVW as Shawn Spears. He was in the company for several years and even made appearances on the WWE relaunch of ECW, losing to Super Crazy and Finlay before he was released. Dillinger would be reassigned to NXT in 2013, taking 4 years to make it to the main roster. His biggest match to date was being randomly thrown into a US title match against AJ Styles and Baron Corbin at Hell in a Cell to make it a triple threat. In this match, Dillinger was pinned by Corbin, causing Styles to lose his title without even being part of the decision. This caused a loss in fanfare for Dillinger, and he's slowly trying to rebuild his reputation with the fans. Connor and Victor are to date the longest reigning NXT tag champs of all time with an impressive 364-day reign. Their pounding theme song and dark gothic steampunk gimmick cause more intrigue in the eyes of the NXT universe, as their style could be seen as a hybrid between the Brood and the Ministry of Darkness. Their imposing size made them an intimidating and unbeatable force, putting them in regard as one of the greatest tag teams to come out of NXT. Unfortunately, they have been misused and underbooked on the main roster and have been a sideline tag team for the last couple of years, barely getting matches on television. Their biggest break so far has them as characters on Breezango's Fashion Files, which is entertaining, but also sort of destroyed their big scary monster thing they had going. What should the WWE do with the Ascension? Should they try to build them up as a great tag team, or should they keep them as jobbers? Let me know in the comments. Dana Brooke is one of the most underrated female talents on the roster. She has undeniable visible strength as well as unbelievable athleticism. Though she had great potential during her run in NXT, many injuries pushed Dana further and further down the totem pole. She was brought into WWE to work as a goon for Charlotte Flair, but was eventually fired by the Queen, and Brooke was fairly absent from TV for a long time after, until recently becoming a part of Titus Worldwide, which is slowly building her popularity. She's a manager more or less, but hopefully she can start representing the brand in ring. Speaking of Titus Worldwide, here's a perfect example of someone who took the indies by storm, yet hasn't found a deep connection with the WWE fans. Known originally as Yuha Nation, Apollo's incredible strength, ability, and speed to flip for a man his size and stature wowed the wrestling world. He was an exciting pickup for NXT, but under his then name of Apollo Crews, couldn't connect with the audience as well as WWE had anticipated. It's no secret that although incredible in the ring, Apollo does lack that bit of charisma needed to edge him to the next level. Here's hoping that his time with Titus Worldwide can somehow help Apollo blossom into the great all-around star he surely can be. Emma was one of the competitors in the first ever NXT Women's Championship match, losing the title to Paige. Emma was also beloved by the NXT universe, and the love continued onto the main roster. Even during her goofy time as the bubbly one, Emma was on her way to becoming a true top star when she teamed up with Dana Brooke, adding an edge to her character. She was showcasing herself as a top player before getting injured and repackaged as the sexy Emmalina. For weeks, promos showcasing Emma in bikinis on the beach started showing up repetitively on WWE television. When Emma finally debuted as Emelina, she went back to being called Emma immediately. Since she was not able to play the character of Emelina, this caused a bit of a shuffle in her career. She was being showcased a lot less despite her rise in popularity. After Emma picked up steam by taking to social media with her hashtag #GiveEmmaAChance, she was soon abruptly released by the company. Despite this, Emma has been rocking it on the indie scene under her real name, Tenille Dashwood. The ever-controversial Eva Marie received a pretty good push in WWE. The issue was that she wasn't very good in the ring. She was on the road within weeks of being signed to the company, getting all the opportunities other female stars might have yearned for, such as magazine pictorials, and was instantly a featured star on the hit television show Total Divas. Eva Marie did try to improve her in-ring skills through training and going back to NXT, but was quickly brought back to the main roster. She was then involved with a horrible gimmick that had her continuously making excuses to not compete. Eventually, she couldn't come to terms with WWE and was released. The team of Gaucho and English looked promising in NXT. As the Vaudevillains, they defeated the second longest reigning tag champs Blake and Murphy for the titles, holding the belts for 61 days before dropping them to Dash and Dawson. Not long after, they were drafted to SmackDown and got moderate television time, but their popularity was slowly but surely diminishing. It was also rumored that Gaucho was a bit of a loudmouth and rubbed a lot of talent the wrong way backstage. It's also reported that he was beat up by Sin Cara. Either way, eventually Gaucho and WWE came to mutual terms for his release. Adam Rose started his career in NXT as Leo Kruger, a neurotic psychopath character that was sort of like a modern-day Cactus Jack, except more crazed and uncomfortable to be around. Kruger had fans in awe as he climbed the NXT totem pole. However, after being injured, he returned by completely switching into the Adam Rose character, a flamboyant party animal who lurked with a giant crew of happy-go-lucky misfits he referred to as his Rosebuds. Rose was put in some ridiculous situations on the main roster, including a rivalry with one of the Rosebuds, the Bunny, which is exactly the type of character you'd imagine. After a brief, somewhat promising venture with Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel as part of the Social Outcast faction, Rose was suspended due to a domestic violence allegation. Rose requested his release before the case was eventually dropped. Bayley was one of the top female talents during her time in NXT and is part of the infamous Four Horsewomen backstage stable alongside Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair. Her rivalry with Sasha pit them in some of the most memorable matches in probably the history of wrestling, including the first ever 30-minute women's Iron Man match, for which Bayley was victorious, winning the NXT Women's title. Upon getting called up to the main roster, Bayley was almost immediately given a chance at the Raw Women's title, coming out victorious. Her run, however, was very short-lived, and since then Bayley has been unable to find her footing on the main roster. Though she was once considered the female John Cena for her appeal to children, her lack of a mean streak is regularly said to be holding her back. It's hard to say where Bayley's career may end up if she doesn't make any adjustments soon. A-Double is definitely regarded as one of the most high-caliber stars on the indie scene. He was a poster child for TNA during its heyday and was one of the most exciting WWE signees. His NXT run was met with moderate success, although he suffered a severe eye injury fairly early. This put him on the commentators' table for the early stages of 205 Live for several months before it was announced that he would join the brand as an active competitor. Aries tried for Neville's Cruiserweight title on several occasions, losing every bout. His biggest upset coming at WrestleMania 33, where it was expected Aries would come out on top. Neville then beat Aries in a submission match, to which the champion retained his title. Aries grew frustrated with his booking and was eventually released, and he is now once again working the independent scene with great success. And these were 10 great NXT stars who lost their steam on the main roster. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more wrestling videos.